All right, get ready. We're diving into Martian Zoo today. And those illustrations, wow. A Martian Zoo school, right? The concept itself is just pure imagination.
It really is. And it's amazing how these sources, they use this fantastical idea to make us think about, well, things like how different cultures interact and the
Yeah.
purpose of teaching, even what it means to be human.
I know, right? So we start with this zookeeper living a regular life, and suddenly, bam, a flying saucer, like the classic image right over their farmhouse. You know that image, the spaceship that glows like the universe is knocking on their door?
Such a strong image, throws us right into the story. But it also like cleverly shows us that feeling of like meeting something completely unknown, that wonder, the curiosity, maybe even a little fear.
Totally. And here, that encounter, it becomes an invitation, a trip to Mars. But not just any trip. They're asked to build a zoo. The illustration of the astronauts looking out at Mars with, come with us to Mars and build us one too. It just captures it all, the awe, the possibility, don't you think?
Definitely. And I think what's really interesting is, well, it's not humans bringing the idea to Mars, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Martians want this zoo. Makes you wonder, what are they hoping to get out of it? Why do they want to see life from another planet?
That's the question. It's that universal thing, wanting to connect with something different beyond our world. Now, the zookeeper, got to give him credit, no hesitation. They're ready to pack up, be the first Martian zookeeper ever. Talk about a leap of faith.
It reminds us, right, that sometimes the most amazing journeys start with one brave decision. This zookeeper could have stayed on that farm, but instead, they chose the unknown.
Speaking of unknown, it gets really interesting on that spaceship, that illustration, the zookeeper surrounded by all those strange creatures, and the caption about a big Martian bed. Wild. Like, it's a cosmic card game, and we don't even know the stakes.
Definitely intriguing. Suggests there's more to this Martian zoo than we see, not just about entertainment or even education. There's a purpose, maybe even a gamble involved in all this.
So, our zookeeper, they've landed on Mars. Spaceship full of these, well, unusual creatures, ready to build this Martian zoo, right? And that trip across Mars, just as amazing as the arrival itself, what do you think?
Oh, absolutely. The illustrations, they really get that feeling of like the sheer scale of it all. Those huge canyons, the mountains, massive, and those ancient stone faces just carved into Mars, like a reminder of like deep time,
Yeah.
the civilizations that came before.
It really makes you wonder about their stories, doesn't it? And then you see it, that transporter train, sleek, modern, going through this ancient landscape. That contrast, old and new,
Yeah.
visually just stunning.
It's like that human urge to explore,
Uh-huh.
leave our mark, even when we're facing something totally different from us.
And talk about those broccoli trees. Small detail, but it just gets your imagination going. What other weird plants are on Mars, right?
Exactly. It reminds us that exploration, it's not just about meeting aliens. It's about new places, new life forms, new possibilities. This Martian zoo, it's not just showing off Earth. It's about us, like immersing ourselves in a totally different world.
And working with the beings who live there, right? The book talks about the Martians, how they're this hardworking crowd, ready to collaborate on the zoo. That one illustration gets me every time. The zookeeper working right alongside the Martians, red dust flying everywhere. You can feel that shared purpose.
I know, right?
Eh.
And it makes you rethink, like, what working with another species could be. We always think conflict, competition. But here, it's partnership, mutual curiosity, wanting to learn from each other.
And the location they choose, amazing. The cliffs of Valles Marineris, that view. But it's right next to those, what are they called? The hikajigaris, those lizard things.
That's interesting, right? Like they're making the zoo part of the natural Martian world, respecting those creatures that are already there.
It shows real awareness, sensitivity. They're not trying to push out the Martian life. It's about coexistence, learning from how things already work in this alien environment.
And then there's the design.
Yeah.
Not your typical zoo, right? Whole bunch of underground mazes, all connected.
Not at all. Like, they built a whole world down there, mimicking the Earth creatures' natural habitats almost. And that image with the moon and the eye looking down, so mysterious, so much wonder. Who's watching this whole thing? What does it all mean? It's up to us to figure it out. And then, the big day, the grand opening. The Martians finally get to see these Earth creatures. Remember that illustration, the red Martian city and that massive thing at the entrance? Looks like some kind of giant elephant. You can practically feel the excitement in the air, everyone waiting to see what's inside. Can you imagine it? Earth animals on display for the Martians. It's like a whole new world, right? And the zoo's packed. All these Martians dying to see creatures from another planet.
It's funny, isn't it? The idea of a zoo is totally flipped around. Usually it's us humans looking at animals in cages, but here It's us who are the exotic ones. The Martians of the audience makes you think, about whose perspective we're seeing things from.
And out of all those Earth creatures, there's one that's the star, the Hexaflexus. We don't know what it is exactly, but the book says it's even more amazing than all of those other weird creatures. You know that illustration? The big one, kind of gray with all those crazy patterns? The caption says, but that wasn't nothing compared to our proud
It's
Hexaflexus.
like this hexaflexus, it represents the unknown, right? It
Yes.
reminds us there's always something new to find, even in a zoo.
And it's not just what they see. Remember that Martian cheer, the hooray? It's in that illustration, the crowds in that Martian city. You can almost hear it, all that excitement.
That hooray, it's like a sound from their culture, right?
Yeah.
How they show they're happy, excited, makes you realize meeting another civilization, it's about more than just spaceships and stuff. It's about how they communicate, how they express themselves.
But here's the thing, the zookeeper, totally blown away by how the Martians react. They never expected this much excitement, this much fascination with Earth creatures. You know that image, the huge crowd, that futuristic building, everyone looking up in awe.
That's such a key moment because it changes how the zookeeper sees everything. They went to Mars to share Earth, right?
Hmm.
But they end up learning this huge lesson themselves.
And that lesson is pauses for dramatic effect. That even though Earth and Mars are different, even though humans and Martians are different, we all share something. That image with the big chameleon-like creature. And the person walking towards that red Martian building, the caption talks about this magical understanding we were all living beings in common. It's like this moment of connection, right? Like realizing that the walls we build between us and other life, maybe they're just in our heads.
Powerful message. Deep down, we're all part of the same thing. This planet, this universe. That spark of life. It's universal, bigger than all our differences.
And that changes the zookeeper's whole purpose. They go from zookeeper to cage-free zookeeper teacher, sharing this new understanding with everyone. That last image with the zookeeper talking to the crowd, those tall bird creatures in the back, it's like the perfect picture of what teaching, what sharing between cultures can be.
Such a powerful transformation. They started out focused on just building a zoo. Now, they're a bridge between two worlds, bringing understanding, empathy. Just incredible.
So, what about you? Think about it. If there was a Martian zoo school, what creature from Earth would you share and why? What could it teach the Martians about our planet, about being human, about ourselves? Something to ponder, right? And on that note, we're wrapping up this deep dive. Such a thought-provoking story. Until next time, keep exploring.